What's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm your boy NarikChase, and in this video we're going to be having another debate: Wonder Woman in 1984 versus the Marvels. Now, if you hadn't seen my original Wonder Woman versus Captain Marvel, be sure to check it out. Both of these films have come under a lot of scrutiny. First, we're going to start off with the overall plot. In both of these films, we're going to compare the good and bad of them. Set in 1984 during the Cold War, Wonder Woman 1984 follows Diana and her past love, Steve Trevor, as they face off against Maxwell Lord and Cheetah. It's an interesting story. It has many layers to it. Feel like that they do focus on themes of like grief and letting go. Is it action filled? Not really. It doesn't have that same intensity of the first film. To some extent, it is good in that way. It has a lot of great introspective moments concerning her character, the film's overall theme of letting go and sacrificing one's wants for the greater good. The wish-making mechanic itself in films can be a bit of, if everybody can make a wish, then eventually somebody's going to wish that everybody's dead, that the world's blown up, that a meteor's hit it, that there's a virus out, that they were the most powerful person in the world. And I did like the story. There's a lot that they could have done better. I do like the fact that in the story she does have Steve Trevor comes back. I don't like the way he came back, and to some extent, as far as developing her character, I think him coming back was a good moment. But as far as helping develop the story, I think that his appearance does take away from the film. Less grounded that was in the first film. And outside of the initial introductory scene of the movie, it definitely feels different. Now, on the side of the Marvel, the film unites Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Monica Rambeau when their powers become mysteriously entangled, forcing them to work together to confront a cosmic threat linked to the Kree. That feels like a much more grounded story in the context of the MCU. The execution might not be as good as I'd like it to be. Well, that's one of the cool things about sequels. I think they did a better job of developing the character of Captain Marvel in this film, of Monica Rambeau outside of the introductory of her in WandaVision, of Kamala Khan, even though she had her own series, but her dealing with actually being a superhero. There are some things that happened in the film that are kind of ridiculous. There is one scene where there's singing playing it. I thought that was completely dumb. Might not be the better writing, but the better story, I will say, definitely kind of goes to the Marvels. Gal Gadot is good in the film as Wonder Woman. Feels like as far as range wise, she's not there yet. I like her as Warrior Amazon. I think she is a good Wonder Woman. I think she's the best Wonder Woman we've had. It's just sometimes during the more emotional moments, the slower moments, a bit hit and miss. The intense battles that we saw in the first Wonder Woman film. So her just being a warrior, we don't really get that this time around. I like her as her warrior incarnation of the character. When she was introduced in Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, we saw that edge. Now there's two types of Wonder Woman. There is the superhero persona of the character, and there's the warrior situations though I would like to see the superhero version of the character that's hopeful, that's pure-hearted, that doesn't kill and stuff like that. But when we get into fights, I want to see the warrior, the Marvels. I think the film does a good job balancing these three. I know people didn't like Captain Marvel initially because she didn't really have that much character development in the first film. I think she had much more character development in this film. And not only does she have more character development in this film, she actually has more personality. You see her laugh, you see her smile, you see different aspects to her character that we really didn't see in the first movie. And I like the fact that these other characters are what's bringing it out of her. And I think that's what's needed for a character like this. She does need other characters to kind of bring out these different emotions and stuff. So Brie Larson, look, I know people have issues with a lot of stuff she said. I think she's actually a decent Captain Marvel when she's able to actually be the character and not just go on these tangents and stuff. To Yona, Paris. I don't know how to say this lady's name. I'm tired of butchering it. Who plays Monica Rambeau? I actually like her. I think she did a better job. Monica Rambeau is one of those kind of obscure characters for me. I know of Captain Marvel. I've read some stuff with her, but not so much Monica Rambeau. I'm interested in her character. Well, I think she is an interesting character, and I feel like she's the most grounded character amongst the three. I'm not going to say she had like the biggest impact on what was going on, but she does have a connection with Captain Marvel. So I like that. And then you got Kamala Khan, played by Iman Vellani. This girl's a trip. I actually like the character. She's goofy. She's likable. She brings that levity. There's a moment where they're training to because of their powers interchange. Every time they use one of them use a power, they teleport. They swap places with somebody else. With another one of them. And when they're practicing how to get when they're bonding and practicing how to get their abilities under control and how they're going to coordinate, I like that moment. You get to see them all laugh. You get to see them all enjoy themselves. You see them relax. You see them bonding. And I like Captain Marvel's power. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a little overpowered. They need to bring it down a little bit to create challenge, which they do in the film, unfortunately, in a bad way. But and then Monica Rambeau, I like her abilities too. I think they're actually pretty cool. Now, Kamala Khan, I have to say this too. In the comics, she's got the Mr. Fantastic abilities. But for some reason, they gave her Green Lantern powers. And I like Kamala Khan. I think she shouldn't have been in the film. I think it should have been this, like, road trip between these two characters who have trauma, who have loss, and who have this connection that needs to be rebuilt. And I think that her kind of being in the film takes away from that. Overall, the main characters, Gal Gadot is a good Wonder Woman. I will say that the Marvels, I do like I like their characters as well. In Wonder Woman 1984, you have two bad guys. I know DC just loves just dropping two bad guys and everything for some reason. But Kristen Wiig ends up taking on the role of Barbara Minerva, who plays Cheetah, one of my favorite DC villains, and Pedro Pascal ends up playing Maxwell Lord, a knockout version of Lex Luthor. I do like both of them had decent motivation. Barbara is Diana's friend, a good friend of her, but she's one of those characters who's very like timid, and she's very envious of Diana, she's beautiful, she has it all, ends up making a wish to be more like Diana, not knowing that she's Wonder Woman, and ends up taking on her powers. Look at Titan from Megamind. He was like, he was a loser, he got Superman powers, then he started wilding out. I like the look of the character when she goes full cat mode. But I'm pissed at the fact that it came at the last 5 minutes of the movie. And then you got Maxwell Lord. I'm not really a Maxwell Lord fan, but I liked his character in the film. You know, he's a businessman, so he wants to have a successful business, but he actually cared about a relationship he has with his son. I do like those bad guys. I think they are interesting. I think they have good motivations. I think their turn towards villainy is gradual. I just wish with the Cheetah persona that could have been capitalized on earlier in the film, so that we see more, that she had more screen time. And in the Marvels, played by Zaye Ashton. I remember her from Doctor Who. She ends up playing this Kree called Dar-Benn, who is on a revenge quest against Captain Marvel. And she's trying to save her planet, which is starting to freeze over due to a dead sun. She was not really memorable. They had a plethora of villains this woman could have played to challenge Captain Marvel. This was not one of them. And she had the most intense eyes. I'll give her that. Kind of eyes that don't blink. And I don't want to say what everybody else been saying. Everybody else has been saying, hey, she's just a knockoff version of Ronan the Accuser. But it's kind of hard not to say that because she kind of comes off as a knockoff version of Ronan the Accuser. I wish there was more to her character. Again, I understand the motivation. I get the motivation. She just wasn't interesting. She just was not interesting. She was beautiful. Just a fine woman. Patty Jenkins does decent direction. The writing isn't good. What they did with the wishes wasn't done well. What they did with the action was not done well. Now, outside of the introduction scene where on Themyscira, she's a little girl and everything, the action is just not there. There's a moment where she's fighting Cheetah in the White House. It's okay. Steve Trevor and Diana are trying to get to Maxwell Lord in that caravan. That fight at the end was just freaking terrible. Been going on, that should have been like a straight down brutal hand-to-hand brawl. It's one of the worst fights I've seen in a superhero film. There's a sequence where Wonder Woman learns to fly. My favorite sequence of the entire film. It was actually good. It was actually emotional. It was, again, about her accepting herself, and it goes with the character growth. The music was just banging. In the film, she wishes for Steve Trevor to come back. He comes back in the body of another man, sexually assaulted some guy that didn't know, that was under the influence of Steve Trevor. Everybody, to me, just making dumb wishes. And then I'm thinking to myself, at some point somebody's gonna be like, I hate humanity, I wish humanity would die. They all would die. I'm listening. I was like, so you got countries that are going to war right now, and they're not one person is like, okay, I wish that country just disappeared. Or you know what I'm saying? Give me stuff like, you would think that'd be some massive, just crazy stuff. And then when everybody recants their wishes, I was like, not everybody's going to recant their wishes. When you look at the Marvels, there's a lot of problems with the writing too. Now, the chick that directed the film is named Nia DaCosta. I don't like her because she's one of those weird feminist ladies that believes that the feminist thing should override story and characters, and it does in this movie. Now, in the film, these three characters get their powers interlocked. The way they do it doesn't make any sense. The fact that the villain is trying to strip resources from different planets is a good, interesting concept because it's not the first time we've heard it. The problem is how it's done. She basically just opens up a portal. Wherever she's trying to gets sucked through. And it dumps it on the planet. And I was like, that's stupid. Now, when she did the water thing, I'm like, okay, if your planet don't got water and you steal water from another planet, okay, I get that. That kind of makes a little sense. The means of how to do it. There's these bangles. Kamala Khan has one, and the villain ends up getting the other, and she's able to open up these portals with these big old huge portals that can sit here and just suck resources off planets and stuff. I'm like, that's dumb. I'm like, so why isn't it like an established technology? In Star Trek, the reboot, the Romulans end up having this machine that burrows into the earth that they use to destroy planets. And I was like, it would have made more sense if they would have had something like that do it. The dancing scene, the singing scene, completely waste of time, money, and effort. You could have established her getting married to somebody else. You ain't got to sing. That's just dumb. The whole fact that they're able to swap places makes the fights pretty unique, and then when they end up coordinating with each other, I think they're actually some pretty cool fights. Now, the problem with that is Captain Marvel is one of the most powerful people in the MCU. We've seen her go toe-to-toe with Thanos. She could technically beat Thanos, but she can't beat this lady? I mean, again, they're cool fights, and if you say, hey, she had the bangle is draining her powers, which is what I tried to tell myself. There was a stupid cat that was introduced in the first Captain Marvel film, and they brought this stupid cat back for this film, and what they do with the cat is just dumb. The film would have benefited greatly if it was just Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers on this road trip together, bonding again, recapturing the magic of their relationship, remembering the mom as they're trying to solve this mystery of what's going on with these different planets, which are being harvested in a better way by this villain, Captain Marvel. And then they're trying to make her the bad guy because she destroyed this alien brain of this species that's highly invasive and tends to conquer other planets. That's bad? No, you stopped them. You stopped them from doing it. Now, how the sun went out, I don't know. And why the hell they got space-faring technology and they ain't using it, I don't get it. But anyways, and then like I said, I'm an action man. I say that Marvel's has better action. It does. The fights, I like the fights. It's just, they're a hell of a lot better than Wonder Woman jumping around swinging on ropes and shit while not trying to hit this chick. It's like, no, beat her up. She's trying to kill you. You got this armor. For what? You didn't use it. You got to toe up. This legendary armor. But anyways, I say between the two, these are not good sequels. There's definitely better sequels out there. and they could have been better. And I would have been interested to see a third one, and hopefully take what didn't work in this film and work on the first film and do better with that. Generally, a way I think it should go. But hey, it is what it is. I still had a decent time with both of the films. I didn't hate them. So, guys, in the comment section below, you let me know. What are your thoughts? Which one of these films are better? Wonder Woman 1984 or The Marvels? Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. And we'll definitely catch you guys later.